Welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA Tampa Bay, Florida chapter. This is our study group for September 5th. It's our 134th study group. Today we're going to be talking about Business Analysis Centers of Excellence. My name is TheaSoehren. I am the chapter president for the Tampa Bay IIBA. I'm also the vice president of career and professional development. All those fancy words just means I'm here for you. It's my job to serve you whatever you need. If you need reviews of something, if you need education, if you need networking, whatever, contact me on LinkedIn is the fastest way to get through to me. We like to celebrate our wins. We have a number of people that have reached out to say that because of our chapter, they were able to get their certifications, and we really appreciate that because, as you know, this is the only thanks we get. So let us know if we've been able to benefit you in a good way. Those folks that are in red have gone on to be leadership of other chapters. The folks in green have been or are leaders for our chapter. We really appreciate them giving back. This is our current board, and we're very, very proud of this board. Recently, we've had someone step up. Richard has stepped up to be vice president of finance. And Richard, I'm sorry, I don't have your name on there. I don't know why. Alicia and Esther continue to do fantastic work on our website. But as you can see, we have 4 board member at large positions that are available. If you're interested in giving back, participating in whatever way you want, contact me. LinkedIn, again, is the best way to do it. We can put you on here, and I want you to know it's pretty darn impressive to be able to say, I am leadership of a chapter of the IIBA. I give back to my organization. I give back to my community. It doesn't mean that you're committing to a 5-year stint. It means that you are going to be with us for however long you can be. You're going to give to us whatever you can give to us. We're going to make our community better because of your efforts. We have members from all over the world, and we are very proud of our folks. If you do not have an IIBA chapter, you're welcome to join our chapter. It doesn't matter where you live. If we're able to serve your needs, you can join our chapter. If you live anywhere in Florida and you want to meet other BAs in person, contact me. We're getting together some groups that want to meet in person. And if you want to just meet, that's one thing. If you want to be a director of a chapter branch, again, leadership, and we'll get y'all together. We have our Director of Emerging Professionals, Kennedy Davis, with us. She is looking for college students who are interested in joining a professional chapter of an organization before they graduate, and also perhaps ending their college career with a professional certification. We want to help them get what they need so that whenever they go to that first job interview, they are head and shoulders above all the other college graduates. Associations we're partnering with, the Tampa Bay Women in Agile and the Tampa Bay Product Group. We're going to be having a joint meeting with them in February. And in preparation for that, we're having some meetings so that we are combining some of our interests. We're also partnering with some of our other IIBA chapters in Ireland, the Philippines, and Bluegrass. 2 of our Bluegrass member leadership are here on the call. We do appreciate them attending. We've given you a lot of ways to reach out to us. This is our normal Thursday evening study group from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We do this every single week. The only times we're not doing this is from Thanksgiving through December until the 1st of January, and then we start all over again to serve you. If you want to reach out to us, you can either reach out to us on our LinkedIn website, Tampa Bay chapter in Florida, USA, or you can look at our website, TampaBay.IIBA.org. We have our meeting recordings on YouTube. We have 130 hours of meeting recordings. So instead of you wading through it, I encourage you to go to Bob's incredible index, rpchurchill.com. He's got a phenomenal location there that he has indexed by topic, by date, a whole bunch of different ways so that you can find easily what you're looking for in that YouTube. And he has a link set up. It takes you directly there. Bob, thank you so much for your effort there. Bob is one of our study group advisors, and Esther is our other study group advisors. They both earned their CBAPs, and they've committed to being here to answer your questions if you have any. Give them some love. If you want to, also go to rpchurchill.com just to see all the good stuff he's created there for us. Watermark Learning has given us a discount code of 40% off. They recently upped it for us. The discount code is Tampa21, and we have a new sponsor, a new vendor agreement with Adaptive US. They have given us 20% off of all of their live classes, on-demand courses, everything excluding the IIBA exam vouchers. The code for that is ITBF20. We have been talking about our IIBA certifications for a while. The top 3 certifications are out of the BABOK. The bottom 4 certifications are not out of the BABOK. And I want to know, by raise of hands, who is going to be taking their BABOK certification exam in 2024? Can you show me? Anybody? I got 1. I got 2. I got 3. 4. Oh my goodness, guys, I got chill bumps. This is so cool. Thank you so much. Okay. This month, IIBA has announced their new discount. It's 15% off of the other 4 certifications. Agile Analysis Certification, the Certification in Business Data Analytics, Certification in Cybersecurity Analysis, and Certificate in Product Ownership Analysis. This offer ends at the end of the month. So next week, we're going to be talking about what it takes to get one or all of these so that you can get that information if you don't want to just go out and look at it yourself. So today we're going to be talking about Business Analysis Centers of Excellence. I'll go through what topics we're going to cover in just a minute again, but here's the list. Next week, we're going to talk, I'm sorry, not us. Next week, there's going to be an event, September 11th, from the IIBA. It's how to elicit requirements. If you go to the IIBA website, you can see this event and get the link. Next week, we're going to be talking about the other 4 certifications. Then the week after that, Felicia Joyner is going to join us for a raffle because she's going to be speaking to us on October 31st about her book. She's joining us for the raffle. And then we're going to talk about facilitation techniques such as lean coffee. I've got such cool stuff to tell y'all on that. I'm geeked out about facilitation techniques. So let's do that together. September 26th, Rachel Winderduck is going to talk about slicing and dicing requirements to best meet project goals. And now we're going to talk about the Business Analysis Centers of Excellence. Before I get into that, if you have been or are currently in a Business Analysis Center of Excellence, would you make yourself known in the chat, please? I see you, Carl. End of the year CBAP. Awesome. So excited about that. So if you're currently in a BACO, let me know by putting something in the chat so that I can see who it is. That way, whenever I'm asking questions, I can ask you if you have any experience of that, please. I see Van, I see Aaron, I see Bill. If anyone else, okay, China's going to write her exam by end of year too. Look at that, guys. We're up to 7 and just these people here. Okay. And Carl has worked in a COE for a PMO and a longer term conversion. So this is going to be right up your alley. Okay, let's get started on this. So we're going to talk about what are the goals and benefits? What does it take to begin a Business Analysis Center of Excellence? What does it take to keep one running? Because it takes effort. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. And then what are the structures of BACOs that have survived and are now mature? So let's start with goals and benefits. The reason why you want to have a Business Analysis Center of Excellence. Here are some things. I honestly got this off of using ChatGPT because it's kind of generic. Every company is going to have kind of different ideas, but these are kind of standards. The goal of standardization, establishing consistent methodologies, tools, and practices across the organization. I think that's cool. The benefit is you get improved performance and cost efficiency. You increase innovation by encouraging the adoption of best practices and innovative approaches. You create a community that talks about what would happen if we did it this way. And you can do some fast tests. You have consistent quality, standardized quality and formatting, ensure the quality and consistency of business analysis deliverables. People don't have to invent the wheel every time. I mean, it's like they just know what is expected of them. They know what they're going to be rated on. They know how to do it because they've done it 14 times already. Inventing the wheel takes a lot of effort, and sometimes you miss things. Effective collaboration, promoting collaboration and knowledge sharing among business analysts and other stakeholders, and then better skill development. Enhance skill development and competency among business analysts through training, mentoring, and professional development. Can y'all think of any other reasons that you would want to start a center of excellence? Did I miss anything?
I can throw out one thing if it's helpful. Um,
Yes.
one of the things is one of the key words here too is center of excellence, meaning it's
Mm-hmm.
centralized. So you have a centralized for your company or whatever your entity is, center of excellence versus like in the old days, maybe if you're part of a big company, say it's a Fortune 100 company, you've got European, US, wherever branches, and they might all be doing their own thing. But if you centralize it, it's centralized. Now, it
Right.
could be you do it for all of Europe, but maybe in Europe they had, Germany and France, they did their own things. You know, you maybe would centralize that. So one of the things is centralized is a key, meaning it's probably a pretty big organization,
Mm-hmm.
and it's big enough that it warrants having a centralized group of people that are doing this stuff. Like if there's two
Right.
people, you wouldn't do this. If it was a 10 person
Probably.
company, you wouldn't do it probably. I mean, maybe, but I don't know, it would pay off a lot. The big
Right.
payoff is for a lot of people, where things might have been spread apart before. You're going to make it
Mm-hmm.
centralized, and you're going to make people responsible for the whole thing. So people that are going to work in that center of excellence, and like you said, it's going to be a big focus of what they do. It's not necessarily a part-time job. It's probably
I
going to be a
agree.
big job.
I agree. Bob, you raised your hand?
Yeah, the problem with those things is if they become too dictatorial, you want it to be a lead by example, lessons learned, best practices, community of practice more than this is a hard and fast, you will do this. So,
Right.
just throwing it out there. I mean,
Good
sometimes
point.
people will learn from those things to formalize processes, but that shouldn't be the only or main goal.
Okay. Thank you. Good point. Andrea?
I was wondering, like, I haven't been in one, but I was wondering if another nice word would be support. Like, I think like having a center of excellence creates like a community in a way, and you can get support within people that are doing the same type of job and roles and share experience, the templates, the what works and what doesn't work, lessons learned, and things like that more internally, and more specifically in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. Aaron, why don't you answer that whenever you and then ask your question?
Okay, so to answer that for Andrea, absolutely. Like those last or everything that's on the screen that is there, it's standardizing, the way we do things and that. It's gaining the support, especially the last item, getting the education and the development and skills enhancement to effectively perform business analysis. And that's one of the key things that are benefits that our center of excellence gives us. And the other thing I wanted to kind of elaborate on what Van was talking about, and that was that center, your business analyst may be supporting many different business units within the enterprise. And even though, they're supporting accounting or sales or, whatever, you know, um, the center of excellence can create the standards in that and create kind of harmony. And this is the way we deliver business analysis to the enterprise.
Right.
So, having that consistency throughout is a good benefit.
I'm thinking that a center of excellence for even a small group to standardize processes, to create a reputation of how people will perform in an organization that maybe has never had BAs before would be beneficial. But it depends on how formal you want to make your center of excellence, because you want to have your communication amongst your BAs. You want to have some kind of standard representation amongst your BAs. So there's a lot of other benefits. Yes, Robert.
A center of excellence is really just a community of practice scaled up and formalized.
Yep,
Same
I
thing.
agree. Okay, Bill?
Yeah, I guess adding to what everyone has said, but in the past, I guess my first experience with a center of excellence, I was told the idea of it mostly was that we want to be able to look at a document 10 months down the road or even 2 years down the road, and no matter who created it, it is within reason going to be consistent. So your consistent headers, consistent format, but also specifically you're consistent with how you approach a project, how you approach a situation, an interview, and then like Aaron and Van were saying, consistency of where it's saved, the document, how your naming convention, and they also the advantage to it is you've got consistent training and you're consistently collaborating and consistently sharing knowledge, experiences. So overall, it's a fabulous thing when everybody's going in the same direction, and everybody wins by it. Especially since you're serving the enterprise, and what you really want is a consistent message to the enterprise so that they consistently see you as a value.
Yep, I agree. So I'm thinking, and tell me what you think about this. If you have, say, 10 people or less in your organization that are BAs, you could probably do a grassroots kind of thing. Create a common place to keep your information, create a way to support each other, create standards for yourself. But if you get over 10 people, you probably need to get a lot more formal, because at some point it's going to be too much for it to be grassroots. People need to have specific responsibilities to be able to maintain this. Does that sound about right, Bill?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to the next page. So what does it take to begin a business analysis center of excellence? It's a whole lot like starting a program or a project. You assess your current state, define your future state, do a gap analysis. Then this is where it gets BACOE. You develop a competency model, which outlines the skills and knowledge required for that role. You develop a detailed implementation plan, the timeline, resources, roles, and responsibilities. Then you work on stakeholder engagement, especially to your executives, because you're going to need a budget and you need their support, and you need to be able to work with other departments as though you're a department, not an individual representing a group of people. So you need that level of authority. Then you need content management and creation. You need regular forums so you can communicate, and collaboration. And then you need continuous improvement. So this is just to get it started. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add or change on this list? Yes, Bill.
Templates. That's
Outputs?
the one thing. Templates. One thing that we have always found that is very valuable is if you have pre-developed templates to do the different tool, a template of a tool, so you're consistent with maybe your gap analysis or your cost benefit analysis. That way it has a consistent look and a consistent delivery.
You said template, right?
Templates, yes.
Template. So that's content management. I'll put templates right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
So for like all the tools, so that way, again, you're delivering a consistent look. And so when you're going project to project, that things don't look, completely different.
One of my favorite things about templates and standardization is, let's say you have 40 different developers creating 40 different APIs. If you have a standard format for that, the 40 developers can work on each other's APIs. If you don't, they've got to figure it all out. And then they might not know the technology or whatever. If you have standardization, they can work through each other and with each other and for each other. Same thing for BAs. Yes, Aaron.
So kind of tying in what you said in the last sprint or the last slide, you know where my mind is. I'm on the edge of me. But on the last slide, you talked about the less than 10 and over than 10 and that starting up with a grassroots effort in that you're probably not going to have a budget at that point. And, you know, in the larger organizations and that, it's going to need executive support. You need a director from the executive level to watch over this, to guide it, to develop it.
Right.
Our Center of Excellence, Van, Bill, and I are part of, and Thea are part of, you know, we're an 80-person BA Center of Excellence in our 11th year. And most Center of Excellences fall apart in 5 to 7 years. And, you know, the thing that has kept us going and has got us past that 5 to 7 years was our director who runs this thing. And, you know, she's you know, it's her little baby.
It is. I cannot stress how much it's her baby. And it's not that she is the parent that adores this child, and it's wonderful to see. I honestly don't know what we're going to do whenever she retires, because she works with the executives, she intercedes for us, she works on making changes. We need her. We want to keep her around for a very long time. Bill, you had your hand up?
Yeah, and I wanted to add to what Aaron's saying is that it's important you have that governance at the top, because very easily people can start to, you know, go away from the standard, and especially as you have new employees that come in. And so it's important that, you know, you have a governance that you're watching over to make sure that everyone's staying consistent.
Right.
Otherwise, people just naturally will kind of float out of consistency.
Well, yeah, it's not even on purpose. That's why the templates are so important.
Yep, it is. And evaluations and feedback loops and all kinds of stuff. Yes, Olga.
I have a question regarding the competency model. So the skills and knowledge required, is this for building the Business Analysis Center of Excellence, or this is like a outline of the competences, skills and knowledge for the, you know, for the professionals that are.
This is a list of what the professionals need to have mastered, and ours and many other competency models I've seen have different levels of mastery. So
maturity, seniority, those kind of things.
But it's maturity levels for a competency. Like I can perform a technique. I know which technique to use. I can lead other people on which technique to use. Those are 3 different levels of competency or maturity for performing a technique.
But the competency model that you mentioned here, is this what you need to build the Center of Excellence, or
no?
Is this
it's more of a guideline to say this is our idea of what we're going to ask the BAs to understand and how we're going to be evaluating them. Because if you don't create
so this is a basis for evaluation of the professionals.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, now I'm going to give you a case study of Cincinnati Insurance Company. So the company has almost 5,000 employees. It's like 4,950 something. It's pretty darn big. The Business Analysis Center of Excellence is about 10 years old. It was created with the goal of standardizing, improving, and making business analysis known and accepted. It didn't start out with this many BAs. It started out with maybe 10. There are currently 100 business analysts reporting to our director. Nobody can manage 100 BAs, okay? So what we have is we've got 3 resource managers that actually manage the people's, you know, your timesheet needs issues, has issues, or you need insurance information, or you need resources. You know, we've got people that manage that, but Tracy manages the business analysis center of excellence. Our employee engagement is super high. People are very engaged. They give feedback. They provide resources. Aaron always is saying, "Hey, there's a new training available," you know, and everybody gets to take advantage of it. Turnover at our organization is generally because of retirement. Many employees have been with the company for 3 or 4 decades. It's very, very stable company. So that means that we don't lose our tribal knowledge very, very often. Other cost centers.
I think she's at 37 years.
Other cost centers actually want a business center level, business analysis center of excellence members, and they regularly transfer funds to this organization so that we can provide them BAs. So that's how well regarded these BAs are, because she has worked really hard to develop their marketing, their performance, their standardization, and just for no other reason for a business center level, business analysis center of excellence. If you have to give training to 5 people, or if you have to give training to 80 people, you know you're going to get a better price per person. If you have a larger group, it makes sense. Any questions on Cincinnati? I'm going to give you a few more pieces of information. Okay.
I think it'd be, unless you were going to go into the history and that, and you might not know, but as far as 5,000 people, I think that's just the headquarters office, and that
it might be.
If our field office, I know 4 or 5 years ago, I heard 5,500, including our field office. So we probably got another 1,000 people out in the field. But like I said, this was 11, 12 years old. And if you remember that, back in the 2010 era, and that, business analysis was still very much in its infancy. And, a lot of companies thought of us as note takers, and that was it.
Yeah.
And our manager worked, very much with the other business units, with the executives and management of the company to get our BAs assigned to projects very early when the PM is assigned, so we could do strategy analysis and that. And it took years to do that, and she got it. That's one of the benefits of the Center of Excellence, and her role within the company. That was one of her first challenges, was to really, advocate for the business analysis profession and make others understand what value we can really build. And then after that happened, it was providing the education and standardizing templates, standardizing the way we deliver business analysis throughout the enterprise and that. So if somebody comes and wants business analysts, it doesn't matter if you get Thea, if you get Bill, you get Van, you get myself, you're pretty much going to get the same level of service from our business analysts, because we train them on best practices or generally accepted practices.
Let's talk about the standardization. She does have 2 different standards for waterfall and agile. So you have to look at the evaluation for whichever type of project you're working. For instance, I'm decommissioning a mainframe. We can't do total agile, but we can do some agile. So we kind of do a blend. There are a lot of people that have different standards that they have to run by, but they know exactly what their standards are, which is wonderful, because as a business analyst, I've very often had bosses, they didn't know what I did. They just knew that I got work done. So they couldn't evaluate what I was doing. It wasn't even possible. Okay, so here is the structure at Cincinnati Insurance. We've got our main leader. Our main leader is the one who is the one neck to choke for the executives. She is the one who goes to them and intercedes for us. She is the one who says we need to do things differently. In fact, recently she went to them and she said, instead of us giving you a new BA for every project, we want to put a BA by product. So we want a group of BAs on each product so that they know that product inside and out. And no matter what project it is, the BAs know the product. So we're a product centric now. She has 2 associates that are also leaders that help her. One of them is full-time assigned to the BA COE. The other one is half-time because she wants to keep doing BA work. The budget is, these people are paid for doing the work of the BA COE. So the budget has to be there. As I said earlier, there's 3 resource managers that take care of all of the BAs that are associated with it. And then there's volunteers. These folks are not paid for this. This is their spare time activity. And Bill and Aaron are part of these folks. We've got a website committee that keeps our knowledge base updated, keeps our activity plans updated. We've got mentors for every single BA. So if you come in the organization, I don't care how much experience you have a mentor and you have a coach. So you've got somebody that you can ask any question of, which is awesome. We also have an onboarding coordinator who kind of comes alongside you whenever you first come on board, shows you where things are, is a resource for you to ask the things that you think are stupid questions because you don't know the company. And some of the things in the company, because it's a rather conservative company, have been that way forever, and she can explain the reason why. There's an activity committee and a recognition committee. Anytime you come on board, you write an article about yourself, everybody oohs and ahs and says, oh, you're so wonderful. And it's wonderful. The support and the feedback that you get just by being a member is like welcome to the family. But this type of structure is really important to create the consistency and the high morale and the smooth functioning of BA COE, in my opinion. Just the onboarding was so well orchestrated because they had processes in place. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. They knew what the schedule was, and they got it done very, very well. Any questions about this structure?
One thing I'd like to add to this, because I think
Yes, Aaron.
people are thinking about it, is that, we do not get our direction on our projects and products that we work on, our service work and that from these people. We're assigned to it by that top leader there and a resource manager. They assign us to our work and that. The direction on that work really comes from either a PM, or if you're on an agile team, it comes from the team or agilist, which that's what we call scrum masters. We get all our direction and everything, and then it's of course our experience and everything is to drive the way we deliver business analysis to the team.
So in a lot of ways, we've got 3 different bosses as BAs in this organization. We go to Tracy, the head leader, if we have any urgent burning questions. We go to our coaches and mentors if we have any less burning questions. We go to our resource manager if it's something in regard to, I need to update a form or I need access to a tool. And then we have our project manager or agilist. And that sounds complicated, but each one of them have different fields that we work in. So there's not crossover. We don't have to report the same thing to multiple people, which is very, very nice. Okay, moving on. I got permission to share this from Cincinnati. This is what they have as their purpose, vision, etc. And I'm going to just read through these to you. Not every company is going to have the same thing, but they live this. So it's very refreshing. The Center of Excellence exists so that the BA community can collectively foster knowledge sharing, develop professional BA skills to meet evolving needs, continuously improve the quality of service delivery, develop core competencies to support strategic capabilities, build effective relationships with IT and business stakeholders, partner with other IT disciplines to achieve agility in our work. Our vision is to lead with our strengths, partner with people, visualize tomorrow, and delight with every interaction. I can't tell y'all, whenever I first read that, I went, really? And then I saw it happening. It was so darn cool. Mission: build a community of highly skilled business analysts that are guided by shared knowledge and energized with a collaborative work environment to make our enterprise a standout organization through leadership, customer focus, innovative, and professional execution of the business analyst role. Have y'all ever seen anything so pretty? One more thing. We don't know who made this. We would love to give credit to it. It was made several years ago, but this is our values: service, teamwork, professional development, respect for others, quality results, entrepreneurial thinking, and collaboration. There's also an element of lean in there. So whenever we fill out our quarterly achievements and how we contributed in our performance, we have to talk about our lean efforts and such. If anybody wants a copy of this, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think I can share it, but I've got to confirm. Okay.
One thing I love about that slide is, I don't know if
Yes.
you picked up on that, but that's a double helix in implying that it's part of our DNA.
It is part of our DNA.
Yeah, I was going to say on that last slide, have you ever seen anything so pretty? And I was going to say, show them our DNA.
Yeah.
It is part of our
You
DNA.
notice at the top of that forms the heart.
Uh-huh.
And
There is a beauty to getting together with other business analysts and being able to speak the same language and having the same way of thinking. I discovered this whenever I went to BBC. I've discovered it whenever I created this community here with y'all. There is a good thing about being with people that think the same way you do, and especially if you have the same types of values. So you can all, share some things with more empathy in a safer way than you would otherwise. Okay,
as far
we
as
are.
when this was created, Tracy had a lot to do with it in that. At one time, we had a leadership team that was like 7 to 10 people, and people rolled on and off of that team because they had other work to do and everything. And, when we had a leadership team of like 7 to 10 people, that leadership team created this. And all the values and all the words in the middle there, this was all created at once by our leadership team.
It's very cool. So let's talk about what makes a BACOE able to withstand time. What's different between those that are able to survive and then those that fold? I'll start with executive sponsorship. If you don't have that, you can't move forward. And they have to be 100%. This is not a thing that you can do halfway. Nobody that's running this can do it halfway. It is a all-in thing. So you not only have to have people that are fully committed, but you got to have stable workforce. If those people that are fully committed get laid off, it crumbles. What else do we need to be able to start it and make it run well?
Like Bill and I had said before, you need that executive oversight and that executive build behind you, and that I'm in Northern Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati in Ohio. I know 3 organizations that their center of excellence, their competency center, or whatever they had called it, failed and everything. And when Cincinnati IIBA existed, we had a meeting in the Kroger facility and it was a CIO panel discussion. And the Kroger CIO was there. He was participating in the panel discussion. And somebody from the audience asked him, what advice do you give your business analyst? His response was, learn to code. And you should have seen my friend and all the Kroger BAs in the room just kind of their mouth dropped. You know, he's telling you his opinion of his value of business analysis. It wasn't much after that their competency center folded.
Right.
On a contrast, our manager, we're in our 5th year of our agile journey. But as that came up, and she was on a team of 3 that were kind of guiding that in the first couple of years. After that, you know, one of them left the company and all of that. But Tracy went to her director and said, you know, I also want leadership of the enterprise agile services, because, and that's who our agilists or scrum masters are in that group. And that she goes, I want business analysis and agile to grow together. Because as you know, many agilists or real theorists of agile says there's no role of business analysis in agile, which I will fight you to the teeth on that one.
You don't have to
But
fight
she
us. We're on
wanted
your
to
team.
ensure that our organization still values business analysis, even as we go to agile and Scrum. We're going Scrum. She wanted those 2 disciplines to grow together.
I think that's awesome. Yes, Bob.
When I learned Agile and Scrum and all, there was an absolute definition and rule for business analysis on any team. It might not be formal in the documentation, but I know I saw it there. And it turns out that Scrum Master, Scrum product owner, and even Scrum developer to a certain degree are all basically BA roles or BA adjacent. I mean, all that stuff flows together, and if anybody is drawing hard boundaries between them, look at them askance.
We will do that. Let's talk about training in a BACOE. Not only do we get training, as everyone in the BACOE is expected to take this training by the end of the month, kind of training, but they offer so much more training that we have options to take. And they pay for us to go to training outside the organization and bring the knowledge back to the organization, which is very cool. I've never seen an organization that does this. The leader, Tracy, she spends her training budget and then she goes and asks other people for their training budgets, because you know that if they don't use their training budget, they're going to lose it, and so you might as well use it. And we're using it for BAs that benefit those other organizations anyway. So she regularly takes 6 to 8 people to BBC, which means she pays for the airfare, the hotels, the food, the conference, and those people get to spend basically a week together to get to know each other, which is even more important now that most of us are virtual. Some of us aren't, but most of us are virtual. And so creating those bonds is really valuable. Let's talk about bringing back your training to your organization. Outside of a BACOE, do you have a way to share your newfound knowledge with your teammates right now? Anybody? Okay.
Well, I'm currently in a PMO office, and so we share through similar ways that COE would share. There's
Okay.
7 of us in the BC area in our office, and so we have 2 meetings throughout the week. One with that includes project managers, and then we have our meeting with just our team, and so we collaborate there. We have places to collaborate in teams, and then we're recently we're still in the process, but we recently set up ServiceNow to manage our projects and to assist us with managing our projects. And there's some collaboration that we're developing in there as well. We're developing an idea portal in there to
Very good.
share
Carl,
items.
you said that y'all are looking at creating something either more permanent or a little bit different in the future. What is that?
Yeah, so just like in one of your first slides, you were talking about like that process, kind of stepping stones for that. I can't remember the terminology you used. Oh yeah, so yeah, your current state, your future state, that competency model. Yeah, a competency model. So we have developed a competency model that we are working through and that we've outlined for. It's a long-term solution to get to the center of excellence, but we're trying to standardize our capabilities and our infrastructure within our PMO. It's a relatively young PMO. It's only been around for about 5 years within the school. So yeah, so we still have templates, and that was brought up as well. We have templates that we've created and that we're updating still after 5 years. And part of it, part of our roadmap is standardizing our PMOs, making sure that we've got emerging disciplines that we integrate within the PMO. We have, and then as we integrate those disciplines within the PMO, we want to have more of a integration with the stakeholders in our business units. So we have a pretty detailed roadmap and I'm trying to rattle some of these things off, but we have a pretty detailed roadmap to get to that. But it's going to take years for this office.
I understand.
And the reason that I put that little chat in there, the 100 BAs, goodness gracious, that would be a dream. So like when I prior to working here, I worked for Ford Credit, and I was on the team that closed all of our branches across North America. And so we had about 160 something branches across North America. We closed them all. We made these regional centers. Each regional center, there were 6 regional centers that we started off with. I think we went down to 5 before I left. And there was a maximum of 5 BAs per CO.
Wow.
Yeah, before I left, when I actually retired from Ford, I had I think 50 projects, not full blown like BA projects, but I had about 10 BA projects I was working on, and then the rest of the 40 things were ancillary little things that we would have to do for CMA. But I had a list of all the things, and I listed everything down with about 50 things I was working on. So yeah, I wish I could work for an organization, and we've got we're down one. We're actually hiring. We've got 7 BAs, but we're down to 6 right now. So 100, gosh, I would love to.
It may be
awesome.
80 BAs and then 20 Agilists. Yes, Aaron.
That's still.
Yeah, it might be. I was wondering where you were getting 100.
There's
Jody
100 people that
question.
report to Tracy. If you look at the org chart.
Yeah, I think 20 of them must be Agilists.
Okay.
Jody answered your question.
We're
chat,
both.
So I want to give her opportunity to say what she means there.
Okay.
Jody,
did you have a
Hey
question?
There.
Yes.
No, hi there. You had just mentioned how we do training if you don't have the Center of Excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned we set up specific sessions after conferences and after training that people go to and then come back and share with as many people as we can share with. But they're specific to the training. There's no formal Center of Excellence with us yet.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that sending people to training and then not having them disseminate that training to your organization is wasting a lot of effort.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jody.
You're all probably very tired of hearing me talk now, but one thing you said earlier that I wanted to answer, Thea, was how does a center of excellence survive after that first, or survive through that first 5 to 7 years and not fall apart in that? And I think the great thing there that they have to do is show value. And that, you know, they're not going to continue to get a budget and everything unless you show that that's going to something in that. So training your business analysts, having better trained business analysts, delivering consistently throughout the enterprise. That's the value that a center of excellence can lead you,
Right.
give you. So you got to show that in order to continue to exist. On your current question, how do you disseminate that information after a training or what to the enterprise? We have a couple of things that we've done. A CIC sends about 7 to 10 business analysts to BBC every year. So this past year, Thea met one of our business analysts, Stephanie. Stephanie introduced her to Tracy, and now Thea works for CIC. So we make connections that way and that, but a while back before the pandemic, our Center of Excellence, we had a blog team, still do, but the blog team created a notes sheet and handed that out. We made a whole folder, you know, suggestions. We gave a pen, we gave several copies of this note sheet to every BA that was going to BBC or another conference. And, you know, we told them, we suggested to them, while you're in a session and that, jot down notes, because we want a blog from you to, you know, share your knowledge and what you just learned when you come back and everything. And for many years, we handed that out to everybody that was going to a conference. So, and we got many blogs out of that. We also have 2 blog categories that I really love. What did you learn? And in case you missed it, you know, very good very good ways of disseminating new knowledge to the rest of our BAs.
Okay, those things are only good if people actually go look at it. So you have to sometimes prompt them, hey, did you see what's in there? And get them to look at it. Let's talk about the content management and creation of templates. I firmly believe that it's critical, and I cannot stress this enough, critical that every single template is owned by someone and that they have to do a review of it for updates and maybe audit to see how it's being used or how people need it to be changed on a periodic basis, maybe every 6 months. If people don't own something, it's going to get stale. And part of our continuous improvement is we have to keep learning and growing, but our material does too. So it's really important that people own things and that they're held accountable for updates on a regular basis. Just like if there's a table or a system or a application, somebody has to own it to be able to make the decisions on it. So I encourage you that if you're going to create content, if you're going to create templates, have somebody that owns it and has it on their calendar and produces a report that says, I made these changes, so that people know that it's being managed, updated, and it doesn't get stale. Any other ideas or comments or questions about centers of excellence? I hope that we have given you enough information about the awesome Center of Excellence at, come on, Bill. I want to see the dog. The Centers of Excellence at Cincinnati, that you know that if you want to come work for an awesome place, let me know. They have remote BAs. They are not taking in more applications right now, but if I get your resume, I'll be glad to forward it on. I'm happy to support you in that manner. There are other companies that are awesome as well. There's a healthcare insurance company on the West Coast that you have to live in one of the 4 states, the 4 Northwest states. to work for. They do a fantastic job as well. They do not have necessarily a center of excellence, but they treat their people very well. If you know of other people, other companies that do a good job for their employees, let me know. I'm kind of making a list. If you know of jobs that are available, let me know. If you're looking for a job, let me know. I'm going to become the matchmaker for BAs and just help people find the connections that they need. Again, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Does anyone have any closing ideas, questions, comments?
Thea's making a list, checking it twice.
It's true. It's really
nice.
true. Okay. Next week, we are going to talk. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped these links for 4 different articles on Business Analysis Center of Excellence in the chat at the very top. It looks like a block because it didn't keep the spaces, but it's in there if you want to grab them. Next week, we're going to be talking about the 4 certifications that are not out of the BABOK. Actually, Esther is going to talk about these, and we're going to talk about what it takes to apply, how long you need to have to study for them, what the benefits are, etc. So if you have any questions on that, join us next week. I've got a lineup for the rest of this year I'm so excited about, and I'm working on next year. If you have topics, questions that you want to see us do a study group for, please send those to me. I want to meet you where you need to be, and I want to get you to where you want to go. So send me your topics that you want to learn more about, and we'll get a study group session set up for that, and I'll let you know exactly when that is, just so that you won't miss out. Okay? Any questions, guys? Any comments? Give me a thumbs up if it was a good session.
It was a great session, Thea. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was gonna ask if we're going to go more into topics instead of having doing the test again.
Yeah. If we're going to we're going to go into a variety of topics. We're going to talk about business architecture. We're going to talk about the current state of Agile. We're going to talk about facilitation. I have got a lot of things that are not test related, except for next week is test because there's a 15% off. But I've got a lot of things that are things that a business analyst would be good to know, and it will be beneficial to you as a business analyst. So that's our focus. Remember, we are going to have meetings all the way up to Thanksgiving, which is the 3rd Thursday in November. And then we're going to be off for the rest of the year until January. So between now and then, let's keep meeting every Thursday. I've got so many good things lined up for y'all. Okay? I love this community. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, who came for your expertise. I appreciate your smees. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.